put your nutrition on autopilot and hit your calorie targets by accident, because this is applicable, by the way, if you are a hard gainer that's trying to gain weight or somebody that is on a fat loss journey. Doesn't matter. You're always going to have a set of calorie targets that you need to be sticking to see the desired outcome that you want. Okay, I'm going to talk you through the process as to how I went from being super sporadic with my meals, super sporadic with my nutrition, it being all over the place, and me never getting the outcome that I really wanted, to actually locking the fuck in and choosing exactly where my body weight goes every single week without fail, and being able to push it up easily in gaining phases and let it fucking plummet in cutting phases. Being in complete control of your nutrition. This is how I do it, and I'm going to run you through it, okay? So this is where I started. Stick thin at 70 kilos for 2 years. Literally, I was at the point where I couldn't get my body weight up. All of my life I'd been skinny, but I would hit this barrier at 70 kilos where I tried eating more. I tried shoveling food down. I tried eating as much as I could. I used to come home from school every single night and ask my mum or if my mum would have made tea, and I'd ask her for 2 plates. I'd shovel down as much as I fucking possibly could, to the point where my stomach was like pressing out against my skin, cramping. I'd be lying in bed with my stomach like pressing out, trying to decide which is the comfiest side to sleep on, because I had so much food in me. I'd wake up the next morning, body weight would literally go down or it'd stay the same. So I was not in control of my nutrition. And I thought that I just had a super fast metabolism. And I thought that my metabolism was always going to stop me from gaining weight. And I was going to be stuck in this skinny physique all of my life. That's what I thought at this point. And that's when I started working as a waiter with Jacob. And I started working as a waiter in the last inn. And I was already struggling to gain weight at this point, already thinking that bulking was going to be impossible for me, that I was going to be stuck in this skinny physique and I was never going to be able to gain weight because of my super fast metabolism. And then I started working as a waiter, and I realized that they were 8-hour shifts with only a 30-minute food break in the middle, and I was going to be doing 20,000 steps every time I did a shift. And I thought I was done for. At this point, I was like, whoa, okay, if I can't gain weight now, and now I'm starting a job as a waiter to pay for the coach that I've just hired, there is no fucking chance in hell I'm going to be able to bulk while I'm working this job. And I was at the point where I was like, fuck, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. But the important thing is, like, building muscle was my number one focus at this point. It's all I cared about, because I was looking in the mirror going, I hate how I look. I hate how skinny I was. I hate how t-shirts were dwarfing me. I wanted to look jacked, right? People were saying, oh, you should be a long distance runner. You know, your physique is kind of built for that. I did not want that. I wanted to be jacked. I wanted to look like a bodybuilder. That was what my life goal was, to put on muscle. It's what I cared about more than anything else on planet Earth. If you could give me one thing at that point to make me happy, like grant my wish, it would have been, I want to put on 20 kilos. That was it. That was my goal. That was all I cared about. And so I didn't give up. So I tried to figure out ways of bulking. And I realized that I needed better advice than what I was finding, because at that time I was going into Barmouth Gym, the little local leisure centre gym that I was training at, and asking the biggest guy in there. I was like, excuse me, mate, excuse me, how do you get bigger? How do you put on weight? Yeah, how did you get bigger? And I'd always ask the biggest guy in the gym, right? And he'd kind of look at me for a second and just go, are you being serious? Like, are you for real? I'm like, yeah. I can't figure it out. And he's like, okay, well, it's fucking simple. You just need to eat more, right? But I was already force feeding. I was already eating as much as I could, and my stomach was pressing out. And I was like, I can't eat anymore. I will physically gag and be sick. I needed better advice. I tried Googling it. I even went on a spree of messaging random coaches on Instagram saying, hey mate, I can see that you help people build muscle. Can you help me? I can't gain weight. And I used to just spam them and then they'd answer me like, yeah, of course, you just need to gain weight. And I'm like, oh, you just need to eat more. And I was like, yeah, but I'm already doing that. I'm trying my best to do that. And nobody kind of knew the answer. I kept on explaining my situation to people, and they were like, you just need to eat more food. And I was like, I physically can't. I physically can't. I need better advice on this. So I used the money that I was earning from working at this pub. I was getting paid £7.50 an hour, I think, or £8 an hour. And I was using that money to hire my first coach, called Steve. I think Steve was a top bodybuilding coach in the UK at this point, and he was, I think, £220 a month. So I was literally using all of the money that I was earning from the last, because I was only working at the pub for like 8 hours a week or something. I was using all of this money to invest in the coaching to build me muscle. But then as soon as I hired Steve, I was like, Steve, I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling because, I'm doing 20,000 steps. I've only got 30 minutes to eat in the middle of my shifts. It's going to be impossible for me to gain weight. And I explained how at the moment I was taking in a 1,500 calorie meal with chicken and rice into work with me, and then in that half an hour food break, I'd sit in the back of the last and try and scran as much of it as I possibly could, but I'd never finish it. And then I'd have to go home later that night and finish it off at that point, and then have tea afterwards, leading to me stuck in this cycle where I hadn't finished my main meal during the day. So then I was having to eat it at 6 p.m. when I finished, which then led to me not being hungry for tea, which then led to me having to scran down 2 bowls of cereal at 9 p.m. And then I've got the stomach is cramping and getting bloated again, waking up the next day with no appetite, and my weight was literally not moving up. I was stuck in that cycle. And I explained this to Steve, and he said to me, right, you have got a super fast metabolism. He said, fuck me, you have got an absolute steam engine of metabolism, right? You're eating 4,500 calories and your body weight is barely moving. But that is not what's holding you back. That is not what's stopping you. And I was like, huh? Yes, it is. What are you on about? He said, it's actually your meal structure. And I was like, what do you mean my meal structure? He said, and he just bluntly kind of said to me, he said, you're waking up every day and going, what should I eat today? And I was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He said, you're going into every day just hoping that it'll work out and you'll kind of figure things out. And I was like, yeah, what's wrong with that? He said, if you want a desired outcome with your physique, you need to know exactly what the fuck you're eating for at least your first 2 meals of the day before. It needs to be on autopilot. It needs to be automatic, right? So, and this applies to fat loss too. I know my personal story is all about muscle gain and gaining weight because that's what I struggle with. This applies exactly to fat loss, even more so, right? And I realized at that time that I was waking up and asking myself, what should I eat today? What do I fancy for breakfast? And there's so many issues with that. I was waking up going, oh, what should I eat today? I'd go downstairs, look through the cupboards. Oh, my favorite cereal wasn't in. I'd have to walk to Co-op, walk to the nearest supermarket, come back, have my crunchy nut and my brown flakes, scran that. And it was literally 2 or 3 hours after waking up before I'd even have my first meal. And sometimes I'd wake up at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I wouldn't be having my first meal until fucking midday, right? That is awful meal organization. And nothing was planned out. Nothing was methodical. Nothing was routined. And I was having to make so many decisions on a daily basis. I was waking up and going, oh, what am I going to have for breakfast? What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for tea? What am I going to have here? And I was making four decisions every single day, 7 days a week, and just getting super overwhelmed with trying to keep up with food like this because you're never going to be able to do that. You're never going to be able to do that. And it was driving me fucking nuts. I was getting to the point where I was fed up of thinking about food. I was like, I don't want to think about what I want to eat anymore. I don't want to think about it. I just want to like have somebody come and deliver it to me and spoon feed it. That would be the ideal scenario, right? But obviously no one's ever going to do that. But that is what I wanted because I was fucking fed up of it. I was like, I don't want to think about food anymore. Just deliver it to me and eat it and give me it. So I realized that I needed to minimize the number of decisions that I needed to make daily, and then I'd be able to finally stick to something nutritionally. If I had less decisions to make, holy fuck, it was just like, this is what we're eating today. This is what's happening. Amazing. The decisions weren't there. I'm cool with it. I'm not going, oh, do I fancy chicken or beef? Oh, or do I fancy Crunch Nut or Cheerios? Or do I fancy, because those decisions eat away at your mental energy. You don't realize they literally claw away at your thinking, everything, and they can invade, take so much of your mental energy and your decision-making power and just rob you of that, leaving you in this little spiral of like, do I eat this or do I eat that? Do I fancy that? Do I fancy this? And doing that 4 times a day when you're a hard gainer who's trying to get in 4,000 calories is an absolute fucking nightmare. It will drive you crazy. So what I did was, there's some funny photos here from my past, which you'll like looking at as well. This is me at 72 kilos after 2 years of lifting, having barely put on any weight. This is me peak bulk at 95 kilos after hacking weight gain, but taking it a little bit too far and gaining weight a little bit too quickly. But anyway, at this point, I asked my mum to teach me how to cook 3 meals. And well, actually, I say I got my mum to teach me. She was actually fed up of how much food I was trying to eat. So she said, Ollie, you're learning how to make these or I'm not cooking you it anymore. Because I was eating an extra meal on top of whatever she was making daily. So she was making me like lunch and dinner, but I was having my own breakfast, bowl of cereal, the lunch she made for me, and then another meal on top and dinner. And she was getting fed up because I was like in the kitchen fucking around making a huge mess. And she was like, right, I'm going to teach you how to make these things and you're going to make these meals on repeat for the next 5 years. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. She taught me how to make a chicken and rice. Literally just like, here's how to cook chicken, Ollie, and make sure it's not raw. Thank you. Here's how to cook rice in a pan. I can do that. Wicked. A spag bowl. She taught me how to make the mince, get the pasta, make a spag bowl from scratch. Brilliant. I can also turn that into a chili. She taught me how to cook an oven pizza. Amazing, I can do that. And she also taught me how to make a Chinese chicken pasta. So from the local butchers, there was like this Chinese marinated chicken. Just had a Harley join. Wait for him to pop up. Hello. Yeah, he's in.
Hello.
How you doing, Harley? You'll be able to watch the recording back to catch the first half, but I'm pretty much just talking about how to put your nutrition on autopilot and running back through my story.
Okay, no worries.
Wicked. So I got my mum to teach me these four meals: chicken and rice, spaghetti bolognese, oven pizza, and a Chinese chicken pasta. And for breakfast, I was learning how to make a smoothie every single day because I realized that they went down so much easier. So once I'd learned these four meals and I got my mum, well, my mum forced me, she sat me down and said, Ollie, you're going to learn how to cook now because I can't be asked cooking for you anymore and you're eating too much food. I was like, okay, fine, I can do that. Here's how to make these four meals. She taught me how to make these, and I started rinsing them day after day after day after day. And my nutrition got so much easier because it was no longer, what am I going to eat? Rummaging through the cupboards. Oh, we haven't got anything in. It was like, what am I going to eat? Oh, I only know how to cook four meals. So it has to be one of these four. Well, which one do I fancy tonight? Do I fancy a quick pizza? Do I fancy a spag bowl? Do I fancy the chicken pasta? Or do I fancy chicken and rice? And whatever one it was, I'd then just go and cook it. And they are literally the same meals that I eat today on repeat. And I finally started to make progress with my physique. And I wasn't fucking fed up with thinking about food all the time, right? I could actually start increasing my body weight because my nutrition was just getting taken care of for me. It was like it was on autopilot because I only knew how to make four meals. There was no choice. There was no, do I fancy the sticky chili beef garlic roasted noodles or do I fancy this crazy meal? It was just one of these four meals on repeat. So here's what my nutrition looks like now. Okay. Like literally at this point in time in my life, I could gain weight perfectly. I could push my body weight up as high as I want. I could lose as much weight as I possibly want. I'm in complete control of my body weight. I could do that without tracking my nutrition easily because my diet is just so fucking consistent. So here's what it looks like at the moment, right? On a weekday, I wake up, I have a coffee at 5:30 a.m. and I get straight to work. And then 2 hours pass. So by like 7:30 or 8, I then make the same smoothie every single day. I make the same smoothie. Right. I get two bananas. I chop up two bananas, put them into the shaker. I put in 310 milliliters of milk. I put in 15 grams of peanut butter. I put in 20 grams of honey. And I put in one scoop of protein powder and my creatine. Blend that up and I drink it. That's it. Then I have my second coffee at 11 a.m. Then at lunchtime at 1 p.m., I have the same chicken and rice every single day. And it, like, seriously, when you're struggling with your nutrition and getting consistency in, and when you're struggling with getting overwhelmed with making decisions, take all of the decisions out of it. Now, what I mean by that is don't just decide, I'm going to have chicken and rice. Like, I have the same seasoning every day because I found a seasoning that I love. I will just carry on rinsing and repeating that seasoning until I get sick of it. And this is what you need to do with your nutrition. If you're fed up of making choices, oh, do I fancy that seasoning or this one? Find one that you like that is tasty enough that you can eat it and enjoy the meal, but it isn't so tasty that you're going to get fucking sick of it after 2 or 3 days, because that is a nightmare as well. Find one that's good. Right now, mine is lemon pepper chicken. I'm having that every single day, and I'm rinsing, repeating that day after day after day, and I'll carry on doing that until I feel absolutely sick of it. So I have a coffee at 5 a.m. I work for 2 hours or 3 hours. I have my morning smoothie. I have a second coffee at 11. I have my lunch, which is chicken and rice, same every day at 1 p.m. And then I have a bowl of cereal as a snack at like 3, 4 p.m. And then I have a choice of one of my bulky meals for tea. Now, this is the only meal daily that is actually up for my decision. Now, there's a very specific reason that I've made this the last meal of the day as well. I want to preserve all of my mental energy earlier on in the day. I don't want to be waking up thinking, oh, what do I fancy for breakfast? What should I have? And then when lunch comes around, having to go, oh, what am I having for lunch today? Let me look through the cupboards. Let me make something up from scratch. If you're eating 4 times a day and you're making that decision every single time, you're going to be burnt out as fuck from making these decisions. So my breakfast on autopilot, my lunch on autopilot, all of cereal on autopilot. I've got 12 boxes of cereal literally there, ready for me to pour out as soon as 3 p.m. hits. The last meal of the day, when I've already done all of my work for the day, I've already been to the gym, I've already made all my hard decisions, I've already been through everything. That's when I can put mental energy towards choosing a meal. That is where I open up my FitnessPal, right? And I choose one of my bulky meals. Now, this is where you have to turn your consistent meals on my FitnessPal into meals. And what I mean by that is not just like into meals, but like saves them as meals on your MyFitnessPal. Because whenever I get to tea time now, and me and Evie look at each other and we're like, oh, what do you fancy for tea? That's when most people go on Instagram, start scrolling random reels, and then you Google the ingredients and all of that shit. No, all I have to do is this. I go into my MyFitnessPal, I go like add food, my meals. Look at this, right? I'm not sure if I can see it. There you go. Look at this. Look at how many different teas I've got. Over the years, over the last 5 years of tracking my nutrition, I've just collected meal after meal after meal after meal of amazing bulking teas, right? Amazing bulking recipes. I've got pad thai, chicken kebab, healthy Chinese beef, a chili con carne, steak and chips, homemade pizza, pesto chicken, chicken pesto sandwich, burger and chips, pesto tagliatelle, large kebab, full katsu stir fry, tuna pasta with garlic bread, Domino's pizza. Like all I have to do when it comes to making that last meal of the day, that final decision, that the only decision that I need to make on a daily basis when it comes to nutrition, open my phone up and go, what do I fancy? It's that easy. And I would highly, highly recommend that you bring this into your structure as well. If you're struggling to stick to your targets nutritionally, you need to bring more structure in. Your first 2 meals of the day need to be fucking concreted. Leave the decision-making ones to later on in the day. When you've got the family meal, when you're having somebody cook for you, that's when you like leave all the choice up to that point. But in your first breakfast and lunch, you don't want to be thinking about food at that point. Absolutely like iron it out. So on the weekdays, that's what my nutrition looks like. On a weekend, I have 2 coffees, the same smoothie, the same chicken and rice, and then for dinner, we have a meal out or a takeaway. It's literally that simple. And just think about the difference that this is making in my life, right? Instead of making 28 decisions per week, having to decide on every single time that I was eating what I was going to have, I now only have to make 7. So I'm making a quarter of the decisions that I was previously. Now, you could take this to the extreme and just have a meal plan and eat the same things at the same time every single day. Experiment with it. If that works for you and you can stick to that and you don't have any restrictive thoughts and you don't struggle with wanting to try different foods and you're happy with eating the same thing every day, amazing. I did that at the end of prep because it was easiest to just take all of the decisions away from me. However, I really like this approach of having your breakfast, lunch, and 3 p.m. snack exactly the same every single day. And then that final meal, that's where you can literally cook whatever you want. And you can leave as many calories in that meal as you want. So for example, if I'm going out for a meal out, then I might just skip my 3 p.m. snack, leave 1,300 calories left over, boom, perfect. You can control exactly how you want these meals to look. So here are your jobs, okay? This week, to make your nutrition easier, I want you right now to pencil in your first meal of the day every single day this week. For me, it's my smoothie. It's my OJD milkshake. Bananas, peanut butter, honey, milk, creatine, protein powder. That's the same meal that I'm having every single day. What is that for you right now? If you're cutting, it could be Greek yogurt, fruit, and honey. If you're gaining, it could be a bulking smoothie. It could be a bowl of cereal and a protein shake. Whatever it is, if it's bagels and a protein shake, whatever it is, take the decision away and make sure you've got enough ingredients in for that meal every single morning for the next 7 days. That is the best thing that you can do to start easing the pressure on your nutrition. And secondly, next week, we'll come prepared to meal prep next week. So Sunday, this call next week, for the first half an hour, we'll answer questions. I'll run through any form videos, any form clips, any questions that you guys have, and we'll just have a general catch up. In the second half of the call, I'm going to meal prep live on this call with a chili con carne in front of you. So I'm literally going to prop my laptop up, put it on the side, and cook a chili con carne in front of you. And I want you guys to do the same. So whatever meal you want to cook, doesn't have to be a chili con carne, but come to the call next week with the ingredients ready, put your laptop up on the side, and let's meal prep together. Because I don't want you to come to these calls every single week and just go, yeah, I'm learning, but I'm not really doing. I want you to leave this with 7 meals prepped for the rest of the week, a full chili con carne made up. You could make pesto pasta. You could make whatever you want, but just set yourself up for the week and take the decisions away, because the less decisions that you have to make, the easier life is, right? And that covers fucking everything. If you're having to make decisions, people think that freedom is being able to make as many decisions as you want. I completely fucking disagree. I think if you've got structure and if you're having to make less decisions on a daily basis, it frees your mind up to do other things. If you're like, this is the best example of this, right? If you're working and you know that you're in work from 8 until 5 every single day, then you know that what you want to do outside that time has to be absolutely on point because you've only got that much time left. So if you want to go to the gym, you know it has to be at that point. And so that's freeing. You know that you have to go to the gym at that point. If you've got the full day off work, the gym can go anywhere. And you start going, I wonder if it should go here or maybe there. That is debilitating, right? So it's weird. It works backwards, but this works with everything in life. The less decisions you have to make, the easier and more streamlined things are. So take the fucking decisions away from it. If you're struggling with something, if you're struggling to be consistent, get rid of the decisions. For me, right? If I'm struggling with scrolling on my phone in the mornings at 5 a.m. when I should be working on my business, chasing my dreams, I'll lock the motherfucker up, put it in a box. I can't even get to it. Impossible. Can't look at it, right? And you can do this in so many different ways. If you're struggling with focusing at your desk because there's something that's, I don't know, tickling your arm, just get rid of all the distractions, get rid of everything so that all you can do when you're sat here is literally work. Or any example like this, there's Opal, the screen app that closes all of the other apps like Gmail, WhatsApp, everything. Instagram blocks them all. It only lets you on Google Drive. If you want to work and only be on Google Drive, guess what? Turn the app on. Impossible to not do anything else. Get rid of the decisions and it actually frees you up. So with your nutrition, if you want to make it easier for yourself, streamline it and and just put it on more autopilot, you have to take decisions away. So everybody, I want to know what your first meal of the day is, what you're going to pencil in this week, and also what you're going to prep next week. Let's have it.